President Trump is having to do some damage control after audio tapes reveal the president downplaying the threat of the coronavirus earlier this year. CBS reporter Skyler Henry live with the interview that the White House is going to have a tough time calling a fake. Skyler?
Hey, Alan, good evening to you. Well, the president is calling this a political hit job despite being on the record and being heard on tape with this interview here. Now, the president said earlier today that he said that he actually did downplay the severity of the coronavirus because he didn't want to instill a panic. Earlier today, we heard from Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany, who said that the president didn't downplay the virus. So there's a little bit of mixed messages coming out of the White House so far. But this is all coming from legendary journalist Bob Woodward's new book, where he not only talked to the president about the pandemic, but other issues making headlines across the country.
President Trump is defending what he initially told the American public about the severity of the coronavirus.
We don't want to instill panic. We don't want to jump up and down and start shouting that we have a problem that is a tremendous problem, scare everybody.
But what the president was saying publicly back in February seems at odds with what he told journalist Bob Woodward in an interview for his new book, Rage, which is published by Simon & Schuster, a division of Viacom CBS.
You just breathe the air, and that's how it's passed. And so that's a very tricky one. That's a very delicate one. It's also more deadly than your strenuous flus.
The president admitted to Woodward he downplayed the severity of COVID-19.
I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down.
Yes, sir.
Because I don't want to create a panic.
In an interview to 60 Minutes airing Sunday, Woodward tells Scott Pelley about how he felt about the revelations.
This is the tragedy. A president of the United States has a duty to warn. The public will understand that.
The president praised his administration's response to the coronavirus, saying he saved millions of lives by putting travel restrictions on China.
We shouldn't have lost anybody. Nobody should have lost. China released something that they shouldn't have been allowed to they should not have released. It came out of China, it went to Europe, it went all over the world.
Campaigning in Michigan, Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden called it a disgrace and a dereliction of duty.
He had the information. He knew how dangerous it was. And while this deadly disease ripped through our nation, he failed to do his job on purpose. It was a life and death betrayal of the American people.
Woodward writes that President Trump never seemed willing to mobilize the federal government, preferring to let states handle the crisis.
Now, Joe Biden went on to say earlier today that he felt as though what the president did was almost criminal in terms of not properly informing the American people. Now, the exchange between Bob Woodward and the president, they had about 18 separate interviews, all totaling about 9 hours. We'll see the full extent of what went on coming up on 60 Minutes this Sunday.